As soon as she was hitting the ball against the stone of the walled garden, the last of her worries slipped away. She was alone. Not even the birds were awake. There were no chores to be done, no little faces to wash, no small socks to wrestle onto wriggling feet. For now, all Legacy has to do was play tennis.
You're a tennis guy, aren't you?
I am. I enjoy playing. I enjoy watching it. Enjoying playing tennis and actually being good at playing tennis are two different things, but I enjoy it.
I remember when Kobe Bryant came to Tennis Channel at the 2019 U.S. Open. He had a book that he was promoting, which isn't uncommon. He came up to our studio. He had the book, but he also had the draw sheet. And on his draw sheet, he had names circled. He knew some of the players personally. There were players he wanted to see. He wasn't there just to shake a few hands and sell a few books and get out. You're a man of the world and grew up all over the world, but I'm curious, when did you come to tennis?
Well, it was about a week after I retired. Rob and I, he was a good friend of mine. We lived close to each other. He was a part of a tennis club, local tennis club. Said, let's go down and hit some balls.
He was a killer on the tennis court. He would rush the net, try to slam it back, use his height. He was almost impossible to beat with a passing shot just because his reach was so long.
Next thing you know, things got competitive, and we were out there for about 3-4 hours. The sound of hitting a good shot, it just feels so good when you're able to get that ball over that net and you place it exactly where you want to place it.
Kobe inspired me, and I think many athletes around the world, just the way he went about his occupation day to day. His hunger to get better on and off the court was inspiring, and that's a bit of the Mamba mentality, you know, just going out there with a certain drive.
He is probably one of the best competitors of all time, really, across all sports. He was just so, mentally above everybody else.
Kobe was so good, I think, at controlling his thoughts and that inner dialogue you're having with yourself. And I think Djokovic and Naomi and some of these supremely amazing, gifted tennis players would see that in him, and I think then they would channel it into their own game.
He played with a lot of people supporting him every time he went out there. He was one of the most popular players, and I think it's just playing for a lot of people other than yourself. When someone is as talented and works as hard as that, he's going to leave a mark on every sort of sport.
It's really rare to have a sporting icon that's so loved and so universal across all the sports, and I know that everyone really loved and appreciated him.
Like the rest of the sports world, the tennis community is reacting this morning to the tragic news back home in California that Kobe Bryant has passed away at the age of 41.
He was one of the best athletes ever, and it's a really sad notice.
His daughter died with him, and some other people who were with him, they died as well. This news was really tough.
It was just so unexpected, right? And I think everyone was really shocked. When you lose a sporting legend like that at such a young age in such a tragic way, you know, definitely it rocks the whole sporting world, including tennis.
He inspired myself and many other people around the world. And
when Kobe passed away, it was an incredibly tough day. I just felt the whole day was very emotional for me and my team.
There was this pall over the Australian Open that day, and it wasn't just the players. I mean, some of these players knew Kobe personally, but even in the stands, I remember you'd see a lot of Laker jerseys that day, and there was sort of a hush over the entire ground.
It was special. You know, I had my headphones on, but I wasn't listening to anything because I wanted to hear the crowd's reaction. I definitely wanted to go out there in the Kobe jersey. I wanted to represent everything that he stood for that day. I've never fought so hard in a match in my life until that day.
When Kobe Bryant was done playing, it was a really graceful transition to being this creative person. What he used to do with a basketball in his hands, he was now doing with a laptop. You retired in 2016. You took up tennis, but you also have won an Oscar. You've won an Emmy.
Well, for me, it was when my mind started drifting towards storytelling more than it started drifting towards basketball. That's when I knew it was time to go.
Think about this book, Legacy and the Queen. It's about tennis, it's about feminism, it's about better angels, it has this element of science fiction. That is not a conventional project that an athlete would sign on to be part of.